So in this, so here I'm going to discuss about combinators. The name itself indicating that we are going to mix up these basic selectors, and we are going to achieve new kind of a new way of selecting a particular element inside your HTML. Okay, so let's see combinators. So I'm going for another file. Okay, so let's talk about the ts slash sorry css slash combinators dot css. Now, I'm sorry. This, this is to be CSS actually. Okay, close this one. Right. So now we can find. See, generally, if you want to access a particular element inside your HTML through CSS, okay, you have plenty of ways. In those, the combinators is one combination where combinator by using combinators you are going to create a new way of or it's a dynamic way of selecting a particular element. Will allow you to create create selection, dynamic way of selection, particular HTML element. Okay, now let us see what are those things. First of all, what I'm trying to say, I just want to take some elements. I'm going to take a header section. I'm just creating a simple page. Inside this, I have some heading tag, something like that, and I have some navigation bar. I do have some anchor links, so I just want to provide home, about, uh, okay, that's fine. Home, about, services, contact. That's it. 4 elements I have taken, and after that, finally footer section. So inside this particular main section, I'm going to write some articles. Okay, a H2, web development, fine. I'm going to take a paragraph. Let's take lorem ipsum. Likewise, I'm going to create different articles, 5 articles. Okay. So complete Java training. Okay. Next, complete Android. Salesforce. we have something big data, so something like that. Okay, so this is my page. Let us see how it's look like when we don't apply any kind of CSS for this. This is my page. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I want to decorate each and every article inside your the HTML main section. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I want to access. So first of all, I want to decorate this article, right? I want a neat background. Okay, and each article should separate with some space. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I want to take some colors for each and every article, or same color, let us take. So how do I access this particular article section, article tag? There are three ways. Of course, the first way is you can make use of article directly, the tag name selector. Okay, and you can apply background color, something. Let me take some random number, so it will provide some random color. And I want some space. Okay, the space after each and every article section, so I can use margin bottom. Okay, around I need some 5 pixel space. Okay, now let us refresh this one. Now I got a green color. It's not much good. I need to go for some other color. Let me go for learning code. Might be I want this color. Let us take the header background. Let's try with this color. Just refresh the page. No, I haven't saved this. Refresh the page. I got some blue color. Still, that is fine for the time being. Okay, so I got a blue color now. Okay, this is one way of selecting a particular element, article element inside of a HTML page. And the next way is, see, if you look this article as a child of the main section, again the main is a child of the HTML body section. Again the body is the child of HTML, right? So you can create parent-child relationships. Okay, so what I can do the same thing, same kind of styles by using what we can call, I'm going to create a selection or selector or rule. I can say selection rule. HTML inside HTML space the HTML body space main section space article. That's it. Okay. Let us see. See, same colors got applied. That means now how do I create such kind of things now? How do I know? Now let us understand what are the different ways that we can create through your combinators. So this is a combination of different tags. Okay, by combining different tags, I can create a new way of selection, a new rule. I can say this is a new CSS rule. And by the way, this is a dynamic way of selection. Okay, so in combinators, you can accessing. Okay, child elements. Okay, elements in the sense including sub hierarchy childs or sub childs. Okay, next we can combine. That means by using combinators, okay, we can access the child elements in any level of hierarchy. Okay, in any level of deepness of hierarchy. And the next one is accessing Sorry. Direct childs. Okay, direct childs. So first level childs, I can say. First level childs. First level childs, that's fine. Okay. So accessing, we can access child elements, inner child elements and inner child elements by using this combinators. Similarly, we can access direct childs by using this one, combinators. And what we can do, we can access siblings. Okay, accessing GHPOURS, neighbors. Okay, neighbors in the sense side by side elements. Okay, so neighbors, side by side elements. So again, in this accessing, we have adjacent. So sorry, general siblings. That means general neighbors, adjacent neighbors. We call the neighbors in CSS as siblings. Okay, so we have two types of neighbors are there. One is general neighbors, second one is adjacent neighbors. We can access those one, and we can create something called mm, yeah. These are the four different things that we can achieve through combinators. So first one, let us take this one, accessing child elements. Accessing child element. So if you want to access a child element inside a parent, you have to provide a space between the parent and child while writing the CSS rule. So this is the parent of this body section. Again, this is the parent of this main section. Again, main is the parent of this article section. So here it is saying it is talking about subchilds. Okay, subchilds in the sense. Let us go for this. Mm, So first of all, I want to show this in 1 second. My Firefox. In this Firefox, I do have an add-on. Let me take one more thing. So I do have some add-on. Now I can go for web developer. You just go for I'll go for this one, tilde or DOM inspector first of all. So what this DOM inspector will do is it will show the hierarchy level of elements on your HTML. Now you can see this is HTML is the parent and remaining all are childs. When I click on the body section, again you can find childs. Again, when I click on the div, again it will find new childs. So this is the levels of hierarchy that you can find. Okay, so the direct childs means now you can see this div is child to this particular HTML element, right? But head and body sections are direct childs. That means first hierarchy level childs. Okay, so these are called direct childs, whereas these are called subchilds, I can say. So, so you can see this text. This text is subchild of HTML or body section. Whereas this div and this div is a direct child for this body section. This may not be a direct child. Why? Because you have to navigate in order to access this one from the body section. You have to navigate these much levels. Okay. So let me show this now. I told you already there is a DOM. Okay, document object model, which is a software, or we can call it as an API, which will reside inside our browser. Okay, DOM will understand the hierarchy level of code. That means the DOM will understand the relationship between each and every tag. Okay, based on that, it is going to construct your web page. So you can see if it is a parent element, that will be placed first. Okay, if it is child, then it will be placed on top of the parent. Okay, now you can see this is the child element of this one. Again, this is the child element of this one, right? So it is going to place it in a stacked order. Whereas here you can see these are siblings. Of course, these are not siblings. I can say these are siblings. Why? Because siblings, in the sense, they should share a common parent. Now you can see this is neighbor to this particular block. This is neighbor to this particular block. Okay, these are neighbors. Why? Because they have a common parent. These won't be neighbors. Why? Because this one, the top box, has another parent, blue color. Again, on top of it, again another color is there. So this parent and this parent is completely different. So this may not be, they may not be neighbors. Got it? So by using DOM, okay, sorry, by using the relationship between each and every element, the DOM is going to construct such a web page like this by placing the elements layout. Okay, so here I want to access a child elements here. Now I did this by using a simple CSS rule by placing this HTML. HTML is a parent element. After that, I place the child. Again, after that, another child sub hierarchy article. Right now, let me take this one. Just go to the developer, and if you want to tilt it, now you can see these are the levels that you can find, hierarchy levels. Okay, if you observe, what I'm trying to say is actually I applied color to the article section, not for the H2 and the paragraph. Just look at that. See, first there is a HTML on top of your body section, on top of the article section is there. Sorry, I think it's a HTML body. Sorry, HTML body main is there, right? HTML body main section, on top of it article is there. I just applied. See, this is my navigation. This is my CSS rule. Okay, only I navigated to article and applied the color to the article, not for H2, which is a child of article, right? See, I applied color to this article, not for these things, the internal chain. Okay, so when you apply like this, whatever the color that is there for the parent, that will be applied to the child as well. Okay, so the same color, that is what is called inheritance in CSS. Okay, inheritance in CSS, parent child inheritance, we can call. Okay, this is a general inheritance, we can call. So if any properties that is deriving from a parent to child elements, that is called general inheritance in CSS. I'll talk about that one later. Okay, and by the way, in this particular article, I'm going to place one more article as well. In the paragraph itself, it's not a good idea to place a paragraph. Article, I just have taken article. In this, I'm going to place a H3, okay, third level, something like that. And I'm going to place some paragraph, lorem. Let us see what happens. See, this is also comes with the same color. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is this is not the direct child of main. Okay, this will be the direct child. This will be the direct child. This is a subdirected child. Why? Because this parent is this one. This parent is this one. So this is the subchild. But still, what are the properties that you applied for the article that will come to the inner childs because of inheritance? Okay, so that is why we are getting like this. And if you use the same code, I'm going to copy, accessing direct child. Let me take this to be direct child. First level of hierarchy. I'm sorry. GI. I think it's spelled wrong. Hierarchy. Something like that. Okay. So you just take this one. So if you want to access a direct child, then you have to use an angular bracket between parent and child. Okay. So inside HTML, I want to access only the body section, the direct child. I want to access the main, which is the direct child. If you have 2 3 main section as a direct child, then same all the properties will apply to those. Okay. Now I'm talking about only the article here. Now let us see. But still, you don't find any change. Why? Because we already mentioned that because of inheritance, whatever the colors and properties that are there for the parent, that will be applied to the what you call children elements. Now this is the color that I applied. So here, what I'm going to do, I just want to make this to be yellow. See, even though this is the child of this particular section, article section, that is not applied with your style, yellow color. The reason is you are mentioning that it should be a direct child. That means only for this one, this one. This is a subdirector child. Sorry, subchilds, I can say. So by this, you can separate the sub hierarchy levels as well as direct childs. Okay, and by the way, here I'm using only uh, tag names as well. Tag names here for describing the sorry. Here I'm using only tag names to describe your CSS rule. This is my CSS rule, dynamic CSS rule. This is my CSS rule. Okay. Instead of tag names, you can use an ID. You can use a class name, or you can use any kind of basic selector you can use. For example, if you want to access all H2 elements, okay. So for this, I just want to change this to be here. Something I just have taken maroon, but it's separately highlighted. Okay, now I want to access the uh, H2 elements. You can access the H2 elements by using the H2 itself. Okay, but instead you can create. I'm going to write one more CSS rule. I can go for direct child itself. Okay, HTML body. Okay, so here I'm using a class name headings. H2 headings. This is the class names I'm going to use. Okay, let's come back. Now place your select all H2s. So here what I'm going to do, class is equal to H2 space HEADING headings. I just placed H2 space HEADINGs. Refresh the page. Of course, I haven't written any style here. So for H2, I'm going to place a background color of blue. White will be good. Let's try. Unfortunately, I'm not getting it. What's the reason? Main section. Okay, I need to go for this. Is see, H2 is not the direct child of main, right? H2 is a heading inside the article. So article space, and this is not good. A light gray I can go for. I can see all these elements. Okay, I just defined a rule by using both tag names as well as class names. You can use IDs. You can use what you can call attribute selectors or universal selectors, something like that. Okay, so this is a way of accessing your children elements of the HTML page. The next one is accessing child elements. Say again, I'm repeating. Instead of tag names, you can use or you can mix up what in class names, ID names, etc., etc. That is what is called combinators. We can mix up all those things. Okay, and let's talk about the siblings. Okay, general sibling or adjacent sibling, something like that. Okay, general sibling in the sense. Okay, so this is what is called combinators, and let's talk about the accessing neighbors. Accessing neighbors. The first one is general siblings. We call it as general siblings. How do I access the neighbors on your HTML page? So let us suppose I'm going to take these are the neighbors. Okay, I can take these as a neighbors. So how do I access this one? You can access something like let me take HTML, or I can go for the first anchor tag. I'm going to take a plus a. A plus a in the sense it's talking about the general sibling. That means the next neighbor. Okay, so I'm applying for these things some kind of properties. What kind of properties I'm going to go for? Don't worry about the properties I'm going to write here. Display block. Okay, I'll explain these things later on. Okay, I just applied. Now you can see. I don't know about these styles. Why? Because I don't want to write all the styles I want right now here. We haven't discussed what is a display inline block and how we are going to set width and height for a particular element. Okay, so that is why I just limited my discussion uh, with these simple uh, properties of the CSS. So you can see. Now let me use a text align as well. Text align center. Now you can see that. Except the first one, you are able to access all the remaining neighbors. So you can see if this is the selected item, okay, these will be the general neighbors. This is the neighbor, this is the neighbor, this is the neighbor, right? So when I say a plus a, except the first one, okay, a in the sense this is the first one, this first a, plus a in the sense it is going to access the next element. Okay, or you can write something like this. if you have something like, I can say a span. A span is a inline text container. Okay, inline text. I think you know what is a block level and inline elements. So here I'm just writing menu. Okay, and I want some br just for understanding purpose. Okay, this is I just mentioned menu here. Okay, so sorry. Instead of a, you can use a span. Why? Because span is the first element I'm going to access on this particular link. Okay, so from menu, okay, this and this one, all these four are neighbors only. Let us try. Unfortunately, I didn't got any style for the anchor tags. The reason is we just placed one more element in between the span and anchor tag, that is br, right? So br is going to be separating the span, and by the way, I can say span is not going to be a neighbor for this anchor tags. Why? Because you don't find any anchor tag immediate to a span. Okay, so that is why I'm going to remove this for the time being and refresh the page. Now you can see when I use span plus a, okay, I got selected this particular home button. If we use a plus a, the second one you are going to select. Okay, and now let me add that br tag. I can see that you're not getting that one. Okay, so you got selected this one. Likewise, you can select immediate neighbor, the next neighbor using a plus a. So what happens if I use a tilde symbol? Okay, if I use a tilde symbol, okay, it is selecting all the anchor tags regardless of that means general, these are called general siblings. But if you use a tilde symbol from this span, from this point, this is the starting point. From this point, home, about, services and contact all are neighbors to this span element. Okay, so when you use a tilde symbol, this will be the general sibling. Actually, I did some mistake here. So tilde is a general sibling. Uh, I'm going to take this is a what is that? What kind of adjacent sibling? If you want adjacent sibling, you have to use a plus symbol. Now I'm going to take span plus a. A plus represent adjacent neighbor. Okay, so I want to change the color for that neighbor, immediate neighbor. So this is what is called immediate neighbor. This is all neighbors. Just like here you have seen all childs in a hierarchy, right? In the child, subchild, or grandchild, something, it will access all the childs. If you want immediate child, you have to use angular bracket symbol. Okay. Now this is, it will access all the neighbors of the span element. It will access only one neighbor, which is adjacent to that particular span element. So instead of maroon, I can go for something mm, magenta. Now refresh the page. See, only I can access this particular thing. This is called adjacent sibling. If you use tilde symbol, that is called general sibling. Okay. And by the way, you can use not only the tag names, you can use class names, IDs, okay, on any kind of, now you can see, in order to select the anchor tags, I'm going to use this attribute name. So take this one for this. Why? Because I don't want to place any new thing here. Still, it is acceptable. Got it? Okay. And unfortunately, You mixed up with what do you call? If you use an attribute selector in the CSS rule combination, okay, this has less priority than this one. Okay, priority wise. Now you can see this color has highest priority because of this rule. Okay, so that is what is called I will talk about the priority using a concept called in CSS we have we can apply the properties, the CSS properties through priority wise. Okay, I'll explain that one later on. For the time being, just observe that this attribute selector has highest priority than normal ID selector in the combination, right? I'll talk about this one. What we left with. So these are the different things, different ways to access your HTML elements inside CSS. We can access the child elements, subchild elements, grandchild elements. You can access direct childs, first level childs. You can access general siblings, that means general neighbors, adjacent neighbors, all these things. Okay. So today. So here, if you want to apply same kind of rules to different elements, see here you are applying this block type structure to what do you call anchor tags, right? So if you want to apply the same things to what we can call H2 as well, you can use H2. See, I just separated these things, okay, a comma separated. So you are accessing anchor tags at the same time you are accessing the H2 elements. Let us see what happens. See, because of size, less size, we got a box of this color. Oh, I just given a width of 80 pixels. So I'm going to override this with something like H2. Here I'm going to give a width of width of 300 pixels. Let's try like this. Not 300, 500 pixels. Okay. Now you can see it has 500 pixels width. That means the same kind of rules, the properties, you're going to apply both for anchor tags at the same time H2. So this is called stacking selector. By using a comma separator, you can select different elements. Using comma separator, you can select different elements in CSS, in HTML. Okay, you can apply the styles to different elements. You can apply different HTML elements. Got it? This is what is called comma separator. Okay, stacking elements, and that means you are doing some kind of inheritance, right? Inheritance means deriving the properties of one thing into one element into another element. See, I'm just sharing the properties. I have a common properties, right? Okay, I have a common properties. So these common properties is shared to anchor tag as well as H2. Or I can say this is not an inheritance. I can say this is a what is called mm, sharing. I can say a sharing of your HTML elements, properties of HTML elements. Okay, so that is about the combinators. The next one is pseudo classes and pseudo elements. Let me take one more file. Pseudo classes and elements. This is one kind of. I'm going to take this one new file. Just link it out. close this combinators, selectors, and so on. In the selectors, we talked about pseudo classes and pseudo elements, right? So here, what I'm going to do, pseudo classes and pseudo elements. So pseudo classes and pseudo elements are not. First of all, let's talk about pseudo classes. See, pseudo classes in the sense, those are not actual classes. Those are not the actual attribute of your HTML. These are created through CSS only. Okay, so you can take something like if you want to create a pseudo class for a particular element, generally a class name in CSS can be accessed by using a dot operator, right? A pseudo class can be used can be accessed by using semicolon. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I just want to talk about, I have h2 elements, right? Now h2, let me take a anchor tag here. This is, I'm going to make it as a UTTYL button. Okay, let's take this to be open in the browser. You just have an anchor tag. I can change the anchor tag as a button. You can access the anchor tag by using like a class name. Okay, what I can, class is equal to button, btn. You can access that through .btn. Okay, so here I'm applying some styles for this display: inline block, color, white, background color, maroon, and a text align, center. I'm just taking these things and let us see. And by the way, I need to apply width and height as well. Width of 80 pixels, height of 30 pixels. Still, I'm not able to apply. Why? Because this to be CSS. Still, I think pseudo classes and elements, right? Dot CSS, which is there inside CSS. On this, see, I just has my button, right? Button tag. Okay, 1 second, please.